Bleach is the best in the big three. Is how I ended part 1 of this 2-part Core 2 Bleach video. And do I personally believe that? I guess we'll see at the end of the video. But to continue where we left off, the reason I feel like I made such an outlandish claim is because episode 7 of the 1,000-Year Blood War, Core 2, exists. Like, I feel like this episode kind of just forced that claim out of me without thought, because we're in the medical ward with Zaraki's apprentice and Unohana's apprentice and a really aged Hikari. And Kenpachi taught this girl well, because as soon as Hikari introduced himself, she went straight to fist, right in that nigga's grill. And she pops her Shikai on Hikari, and she has like some imaginative sword type of shit where like even if you dodge you get, I don't even remember, but she starts hitting a choreographed dance with her Shikai and starts flexing on this fool. And the way that the actual Sternritter V pulled up, being Grammy, might have been the hardest way a nigga could have pulled up. The way that this nigga was inside the barrier. He told Hikari, I can no longer imagine a future with you. And then he just disintegrated into nothing. That was hard number 1. And then we got the lieutenant here tweaking out. Just who the fuck are you? Please step away from the barrier. You worried about these captains? All good. Let me take my leave. Right now! Man, don't worry, Shotty, stop tweaking. They're already seeing God. And then seeing, I forgot her name, but seeing Kenpachi's girl just be on time and instantaneously aggro onto him, and then him twisting her fucking arm into one of those pretzel twists that you get from Sonic, and saying that that shit turned into a crumble cookie. I mean, what the fuck is that? Look at that, Grebby, and look at what this nigga's power does. Anybody else in the show, even the fucking Soul King, this nigga might beat with his power. But the one worst possible opponent he could have faced pulls up on his ass. My fault, I'm late, Squadron. I just got back from Foot Locker. I got 3 new pairs of black forces. I got mids, lows, and highs, all blacked out. And once I put on those lows, I'm not even gonna be wearing socks in that motherfucker. So then Grammy instantly makes their battle arena on some fucking Fortnite event shit, and it's a big ass cube in the sky. I am Grammy, the visionary, who turns fantasy into reality. Sternritter V. V standing for, you are very lucky to be able to fight me, the strongest Sternritter. Doesn't even give the nigga another sentence. He's up in his fucking grill. You do realize I can turn fantasy into reality. And what I just did there, I imagined that my body was steel and that you could not cut through me. Fuck no. And then he drops a Zoro type of quote. The nigga said, if you're as hard as steel, then you should have just said so. My sword could cut anything. Just like, I remember watching this. If we're looking at the Kenpachi versus Grammy iceberg, nigga, this shit is just the tip of it. Because after that, he said, your puny imagination cannot create anything that I can't cut. And I feel like this is very symbolic to like the real life. Let me get philosophical real quick. This is very symbolic to real life because in order to succeed, some say you have to be delusional. And that is why he is as strong as he is, because the nigga is a lunatic. And if you put Kenpachi in Minecraft and he hits bedrock, he is breaking through that shit. Like, that is the mindset that he operates with, and that is why he is so successful. So try incorporating that into your day-to-day and see where it takes you. Let me not get too deep. They hit the episode intro, the I am the edge, and you just see his like serrated edge of his sword, and the lighting is all crisp and everything, and that shit is just hard altogether. So then Grammy just starts spawning in every element he could think of and becomes the avatar. He spawns in lava, starts waterbending, puts him in a water prison, drops him and Yachiru, I think her name is, drops them both into the abyss. He comes out in less than 5 seconds and has Grammy dumbfounded. And this nigga Kenpachi is just a fucking wackadoodle, bro. Just blitzing him and blitzing it like he is not stopping. And he drops like a ghetto type of quote on him. He said, if you're fighting the strongest, don't you want to crush the strongest because you're Gojo Satoru, something like that. And he has Grammy, he was already a psychopath, but now he like reached another tier of it because now he's smiling and he pulls out the GTA weapon wheel and puts in a cheat code for every weapon in the game. He unloaded the whole fucking clip on him. And I forgot to mention the 7 RPGs that he then launched at him as well. And Kenpachi is just talking his shit, calling him lame, still cutting him, and he's getting in his head. Then he said, what's wrong? Did you imagine yourself losing? And I feel like he did this intentionally just so that it can heal up, just so he could beat his ass again. And see, this is when we start getting deeper on that iceberg of just being a fucking, I don't even know. Because Grammy pops Shadow Clone and swears he's Madara and drops the same ass meteor from the sky in the same fashion. And might I say, the orange like ambiance of this scene and just like the sharpness of it, one of the most beautiful scenes in the season. Kenpachi coming up with like, he's just like, oh, meteor, I've never cut that shit before. Like, he's just like, Oh, this is just getting started type of shit. I don't remember if they explained it, but I'm assuming that his Shikai has something to do with Yachiru or something, and she's like a physical embodiment of his Shikai, and when he pops it, like they merge or something, because there was something with the blood. I don't even know. Kenpachi is so excited about this, he's breathing out the mouth. Look at this fucking face, man. This is how a kid looks when they see their favorite mascot at Disney World for the first fucking time. And he charges that shit head on and dices that shit in half, clean cut. And then we see his Shikai, and it's this axe that looks like it came from fucking Dory and Brogy from One Piece, with the meteor shower in the background. I don't know what was called, the Rukia's Bankai or this shot. It might be Kenpachi holding this fucking demon axe. Cause again, just the orange sky, the meteor shower, his hair in the fucking way. The colors were so fucking nice, man. Like it was so fucking nice. Oh my gosh. And he keeps saying there's nothing he can't cut, and this is where I lost my fucking mind. Cause Gremmy goes from a normal shadow clone to a multi-shadow clone jutsu and sends him to the vacuum of outer space, and we see him. I don't even know what this is. Is this like a fourth wall break or so? He cut through this guy. I've never seen a scene this hard. This is what I'm saying. Actual worst enemy for this guy. And Gremmy's last resort is to try and blow him up, and then he's still there standing. And the way that Kenpachi beat him is because Gremmy started imagining him as a monster. So then he didn't even have to land a final blow, which was like probably the nastiest way for him to win. Like, I've never seen some shit like that. And then we found out that Gremmy was just a head in like a body he imagined and stuff, and then he dies out. After that, we stumble across the 4 fraudulent fucks going on a rampage. Now that their leader is deceased, this is what I'm saying, they don't have the glue sticking them together, so now they're just going haywire. And Lee Lodo, I think her name is biting dudes' heads off. Candy Pink is on some Sakura shit, lifting up buildings. Meninas McAllen, that's a very studious name. I feel like she should be like in grad school or something. I don't know, that's besides the point. Yeah, and then we see Roach Girl getting freaky because she has a different power and she's turning niggas into zombies, killing them. I was already getting pissed off at her antics, but if there's one girl I can't get pissed off at, I mean, it has to be Electric Green, dropping her Zeus lightning bolts on the battlefield. Over here striking this pose with her hip out and shit. Candace, Catnip, Candace, dick fitted. But she's sitting here striking this pose, tongue all out, hair just done and curled at the stylist 24 hours before this battle commenced. She knows just how dangerous she is. And they're trying to jump a weakened Kenpachi. And Kenpachi got flashbang. He can barely even hear what they're saying. But then they start playing the theme, and I know exactly who's pulling up now. And my butt cheeks start going like one by one in my chair, like start jigging in my chair a little bit when Ichigo drops in with this Doomfist-esque meteor strike. And dare I say this is Aura? Him standing there, and then his gust of wind just sends the frisky foursome away. Yeah, and he starts exposing these frauds for who they are after he starts chatting with Kenpachi a bit, talking about, I never thought I'd be the one to help you out, with a smile on his face. Man, this nigga's hard. Him just grabbing Electric Green's wrist as they're trying to jump him, launching her into the building, and then just giving each of the girls a fucking right hook. Man, you see, I knew as soon as Candace pulled out this makeshift Indra's arrow that his drip was about to come off. He literally used her arrow just to ruin the attire. Now granted, his new Soul Reaper outfit, marvelous. I can't say that this shit is not hard, because he has like the nice whatever this is on the waist and the X marks the spot type of shit going on, smirking and shit. But he didn't have to. That is kind of a flex though. Like he used her attack to undress himself. That's kind of ridiculous. But like he could have taken it off and folded it up, used it for later. It would have been nice. And the 4 horsemen of the Botpocalypse start getting another power amp. They're like flaunting their shit, flexing on, and you know, Ichigo does not play any games. Like, he wants a faithful woman. He's not giving into this temptation that Candace is presenting in front of him, doing all these erotic dance moves, upgrading her shit. Look at his face, stone cold. He's not with this. He's been through too much trauma at this point. But then he opens up like some pocket dimension and then hits a Getsuga Juji Shell. New variant. I don't know what this was. This shit was so strong of an ability that he's begging the enemy to move out the way. He said, dodge, you idiot. And then she damn near got Toji'd. But Ichigo is such a threat that the whole Quincy regime is on his ass trying to jump him. That is how dangerous this nigga is. But then your watch finally wakes up. Good morning. Good morning. That boy started serenading Ichigo, I swear. Yeah, and throughout this, they kept showing Aizen locked up in there. And I'm not gonna lie, just because I play Jump Force, this might be a spoiler. This is just my prediction with it. I'm assuming that he is going to end up helping them in some way. I feel like that would just make, judging off of what I played of the nigga in Jump Force, because it's clear he gets unsealed. And I'm kind of upset that that got spoiled through that, but I couldn't see him helping your watch, considering I don't remember if it was in this core, first core, we see your watch go up to him in the prison. He like declines his invitation, you know? So, I mean, he was originally a Soul Reaper anyway. So I could see him definitely helping them to some degree. Yeah, but as Ichigo's getting jumped, we see Rukia, Renji, Byakuya, 69, Saitama, and I don't remember that nigga's name, pull up, toted up with the fucking swords, looking clean as ever. And they start helping him out as he's trying to get to your watch. Allow me. No, Vogue. Allow me. I got this. Ishida, what are you doing there? Kurosaki. Head out. You cannot stop His Majesty. Ishida, what the fuck are you talking about, bruh? I said leave before I end your life, bitch. That's what I just said. You will not touch Your Majesty. Ishida, I'm asking you what the fuck you're doing over there, bruh? Fuck you glazing this nigga for? I told your bum ass to leave. I'm letting this shit rip like a Beyblade, nigga. I'm done. And then Team Ichigo pulls up with Orihime and Chad, and they were really exaggerating Orihime's stuff that she's got going on. That was a little, like, I feel like with her specifically, like from episode 1 of Core 1, they've been really like just shoving that in our face. It's been a little like ridiculous. Ichigo, wait! You promised that we'd run a 2-man next week, and I remember that, bruh. What are you doing with him? Have you finished your farewells, my young blazer? Damn right I did. And what is he talking about? Some 2-man? What's that about? Can I get it on this? Master your watch, we'll run our own 2-man. Fuck that nigga. Ishida! Say something, bruh. Ishida! Ichigo, we're just as shocked as you are, seriously. I mean, but this is Ishida we're talking about. Like, you know how he's a very analytical guy. He must have had a great reason to go to their side. Type shit. Yeah, no, I know. And I believe that. But Chad, your sexiness and that deep voice of yours right now is pissing me off. With how cold you and Orihime just pulled up on me. That shit is pissing me off. And it's not the time to be like, looking this cold right now. No time. This is serious. But I knew this shit all along. I knew he had to pick a side. I just didn't see it coming to fruition. Like, that's our friend. That's our homie. You know? And you guys know that too. So I don't know if he feels the same way, but him just turning around, not even be able to look at us, like, I know that meant something. And I'm hearing this OST build up right now, and it's giving me goosebumps. So I know, like, me giving you guys this speech right now, it means that he's coming home. Let's go after him. Dun, 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 dun. You guys hear that? I do hear that shit. You know it. And Kisuke pulls up. It's a nice little thing. And then we get a look into this specific battle, which needed 2 episodes, by the way. So that's how you know it was serious. But Saitama and No Name, they haven't done much. But they did expose this monkey business going on. As they said, I'm quoting. And I think in the manga they were a bit more vulgar about it. But he said some shit like this. You said something about being an unarmed girl, right? But that's weird because I know you're a guy because we've been slipping on semen and shit. And I almost shed tears watching this. I remember I saw Bambi and somehow now she's darker than me. What's that about? So I guess she has the past? I don't know. No, but she's like a zombie now and this shit crushed my heart. And while that battle's going, they're getting ready to head to the Royal Palace. And guess who we see? I guess we could call her the magnificent, melanated, marvelous, massive rear-ended, monstrous, mysterious, magical, magnetic, majestic, motivational, meticulous Madam Yoruichi. I was so happy to see her again. She looks like she's been taking care of her skin and everything. And we see Captain, I forgot his name, Ukitake or something, the scientist. He pulls up on Roach Girl, but he has some horny shit going on with Bambi. Because Bambi's like, I want to suck your blood. I want to suck something. But they start playing 1106, 1,000 Year Blood War Chapter United, and I know it's about to go crazy. Because they start boxing, she spawns in her army of zombies. But then the plot twist at the end of that episode was seeing that Hitsugaya was turned into a zombie himself. And I feel like he always gets a short end of the stick. Tough shit, I really do. Like, it seems like every time, like, there's always something with this nigga. And I forgot to rank those fights. Kenpachi versus Gremmy. That was a 10, no question. And Ichigo versus the 4 bots of the apocalypse. and him getting jumped and all that. Calm little, I'll give it like a 9 just because he pulled up like with style, you know what I'm saying? That was good. And this shit just becomes all out warfare because Captain Karatsuchi, whatever his name is, he starts fighting Hitsugaya and puts him into some time loop thing, which was kind of fucking hard the way he did it, because you see him get iced and diced up into multiple pieces. Screen goes black and then the shit's a repeat. And then you see him get killed again. And the way that they did it in the show, like they'd even do some special effects. They just literally a normal cut and then it was just like him repeating himself for like the 4th time. It added that, I guess, eeriness to the nigga's character, because like Karatsuchi or whatever, however you say his name, I'm always bad at saying his name. Like he's always had that like crazy, like psychotic feel and look to him. So then just the way like he kept looping and then hitting him with the, yeah, no, I've been wanting to try a couple drugs on you. And then we find out that he drugged Hitsugaya mid-combat on some Rick Ross stuff. And then he eventually pins him down and then injects him with the serum that I guess brings him back to his human form. And then we see that Rangiku has been corrupted, unfortunately. And they could keep Beethoven and Kensei or whatever that nigga's name is, but let's get Rangiku back. Let's get Rangiku back. That's important. No, but it's all out war on the battlefield. And I mean, I gotta commend this Quincy UNC, the uncle of the pack. He noticed that Shinji got damn near taken off the map, so he decided, let me pull up with my shades and let me just steal his OST. I would have done the same thing if I was him, because he pulled up with that exaggerated swagger of a black man. That's exactly what he did. But he started friendly firing on his own Quincy brothers and sisters. He was just blowing kisses to whoever and whatever. He did not care, but I know that he gave me another excuse to sing this. Wish I had seen. You were the right thing for a little while and nothing more. I'm sorry, I was feeling groovy. I had to. Yeah, but he's doing that. He's getting sexual over there, and that's not what I'm concerned with. We pan back over to Karatsuchi and we see he's making Roach's zombies his zombies. Talking his shit. Yep, stabs her right in the chest. Get her the fuck out of here. Her shit was Stern Raider Z for a reason, because he's gonna be catching Z's in the underworld type shit. That's where she's going. It's not going up. But no, so then Karatsuchi sends Kensei with the boxing Bankai over to Unk and then just beats him brutally. He didn't even have a moment to take his diaper off. And then he gets eaten by Loletta. So that was a nice little skirmish before we got to the last part of the season, which was when your watch Vogue model Ishida pulled up to the Royal Palace, and we get a little backstory onto what happened, because tensions weren't initially so high. Like we were initially like Pangea in the Soul Society world, you know. It was like the Soul Reapers and the Quincy's, like they were trying to work diplomatically and have like relations and try to coexist. I don't remember if this was already stated, but it stated that your watch is the son of the Soul King, and they were talking at his table. Something was going on, and he had like the eyes of the Soul King, and Ichibe had like the arm of him or something. Like it was something like that, and they just started beefing, and then his eyes got taken away from him. And I'll say it again, the coloring in this core altogether, in whatever environment they are in, and everything looks good. But he pulls up with his army, and then we see them pull up right on Senjumaru's block, and she knits Sternritter, I don't even know his name, we'll call him Sternritter F for freak, with this double tongue action he's got going on, knits him a new sweater, and then kills him instantaneously. Yeah, she's a nutcase. I guess you'll watch summon in his like top 4 draft picks, best Sternritters, and they include Thor, Aizen's little brother, G.I. Joe, and Vagar from League of Legends. And we see G.I. Joe bring out his DSR-50, and he just one-shots Senjumaru right in the fucking cranium. And when I saw that, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, no way there's scrubs like this, like protecting the Soul King. But I don't know, it just seemed so sudden, like I was like, damn. Then they show us that it was actually a trap set up by all of them, and then the curtains unveil the shit, and then there's like a hidden soul palace in the background. And the way Ichibe's like power works by him just like writing shit into the world and then it being there, it's kind of like Off-White, like how there's like in quotes like white on the shoe or something. Like that's how his power looks. And then all of the upper tier Soul Reapers start pulling up. Ichibe is there, our girl, I forgot her name, it'll come to me though, but our bodacious chef of a woman, she's here as well. And then the hot spring guy, and then the Zanpakuto creator. I'm sorry, I don't know all their names, but we see him pull up with his sword in like his sword marinating in some spices and shit, and said this is where Squad Zero's real fight begins. Thor tries blitzing him, and then we see him make him drop to it. He'd even shed any fucking blood, and then Thor is kissing the pavement at his feet. There was no sound effect for this, by the way, so it was just fucking hard. And then he eventually starts spurting blood like a fucking fountain. Now, I think his name is Etsu actually, and the OST was picking up here, and it was just such a dirty scene in general. And this nigga was soloing them, and it was the dirtiest display I've ever seen. Because G.I. Joe shoots one at him, he'd even move the sword, he cut the shit, and then there's some like some like alien type of sound effect they're doing, like zoom zoom zoom, and you see him walking. Vigar starts to try his ult in the nigga, and then there's a sword right through his fucking head, and then Aizen's twin is taken down. But then you see your watch teleport out of the prison. So you wanted round 2, young whippersnapper, that's what you want with me. Ichibe Hyusobe, you will let me see my papa. Didn't I tell you not to mutter my name, boy? Do you know how many years I have on your dumbass? Let me humble you real quick, cause I'm not gonna let you just come to my domain trying to make a mockery out of me. You know what type of shit I'm on. That boy Ichibe starts flexing on your watch so hard, he draws out the arena for them, and it's probably about 20 feet of space. He gave him an out of bounds line and everything. And your watch says Ichibe's name again, so he palms that nigga into flight. Then he starts dropping down the hands of fucking God on your watch and makes him lose his voice, but then your watch, I guess, puts Ryatsu, I think that's what it's called, into his fucking Adam's apple and gives himself a voice. It was just such a good fucking display. And pierces himself with his own arrow to bring him back up to where that nigga is. Like, I'm telling you, dude, the way that these fights are mapped out and choreographed, and just like the logic behind them is why I made that claim at the beginning of the video. There's just a lot of creativity going on here, like the Bankai, and I know the Bleach power system might be like a little bit confusing in terms of like how strong someone may be, but the powers that these niggas put, like Naruto has some cool shit, and I love Naruto, but I just don't think some of the Naruto powers and shit are as cool as Bleach. And like One Piece obviously is like, they have the devil fruits, like I think out of the 3, One Piece has the best power system and the most balanced one, I'd say. But like, I don't know, the creativity with the Bleach powers is like, it's just so fucking dirty. And then this visual of him with his eyes rolled back, and again, the lighting and the shadows with it, oh my gosh. Yeah, and everyone starts running their one-on-ones. And with Etsu, I think it's, Etsu, whatever his name is, and Aizen's twin, they were doing some fight, and he got his neck chopped. And Tenjido, which is the hot spring dude, did something with his blood, because Aizen's power like has something to do with blood loss and 60 kilograms, and like he can't move if it's under that, something like that. So then he had like Tenjido and his hot spring shit circling the blood. Like, that's what I'm saying, like the creativity behind these battles, man. And seeing Ichibe expose your watch like this was such a display of just like, he has like the most disrespectful power in the whole show, I think. Like the fact that he's just actually taking people's names and the names of their body parts and doing what he wants with them and giving them new names. I just feel like that shit is like worthy of a prison sentence, because he did something to your watch's arms. Now they're just ours now. Yeah, we took an intermission from the fighting, and we see Roach getting very, I don't even know the word. I'm just disgusted though. Like, there is no one that should be munching on Bambi's bodacious thighs other than you know who, and I'm not naming them. No one else. I'm not naming them. And Roach was gnawing on these things. No remorse, no nothing. Blood-sucking vampire Nosferatu type of shit. And we see this angle. This was done so intentionally. It was kind of ridiculous. And then Roach just starts bashing Bambi's head into the pavement. That shit was sinister. Yeah, so then before anything starts getting any more freaky, you watch like absorbs everyone's power. And this is why I was kind of saying that I feel like a coup is gonna happen to some degree, because you see Bambi, Loletta, and Bazby specifically kind of being like, I won't die here, like I cannot believe your majesty is doing this shit. And we see Candace and Sweet Pink just get absolutely obliterated, and a lot of the other Quincy's get obliterated too. So I don't think it's ever confirmed what happens to them, but I don't think all of them died there. But he absorbs like everyone's power, makes it rainfall at the Royal Palace, and then like the Quincy's that are there get like a little buff. But also, character I forgot about looking at it now, Ukitake, has he ever even fought, or has he always been sick? He clearly has some busted ability that I feel like is going to be utilized next core. That's what I'm thinking. because I'm talking to him and I'm just like, yeah, you'll be able to utilize your power to the fullest potential maybe, and you could push yourself a bit. So I'm assuming he has some wicked shit in his arsenal. But yeah, no, so the last episode was kind of fucking monstrous. I'm not gonna lie. Because now they have this power amp. G.I. Joe is just toting this weapon, unleashing this shit everywhere, and puts a hole through Uetsu. We hear the OST drop again, and then Senjumaru pulls out flesh from her fucking pocket and then heals this nigga up instantaneously. Good morning, y'all. Happy, miraculous, marvelous, get your money Monday. That brother did not die after you shot him. This shit's just turning up for real low key. Like, I'm ready, like the five of us. Like, this shit's about to be a movie, you know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, Ichibei might be the hardest nigga in the show. I know I keep going back to it, but we go back to his fight with your watch, and then he grabs him by the neck. He's trying to chorus Ryatsu through fucking Ichibei's veins, and this nigga flexes and breaks the shit. And they start clashing. He's getting ink everywhere. You cannot take the name away from my blade, Ichibei. I'm gonna use my... Huh? What was that stupid ass, dumbass, little ass nigga? What's the name of the blade? Tell me. Tell me, I'm interested, tell me. And we see Thor deck Senjumaru in the face. They're going back and forth. Aizen is working Hot Spring Dude a little bit. And all the Soul Reapers are basically getting worked. And I think her name's Kikoro, or something. It just came back to me. And we see her in her hot yoga mom form. And now I know she's one that would definitely want to go to Whole Foods. That's for sure. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. So then, Senjumaru, I think everyone kind of off themselves. I think that's what happened, because they can't use their powers simultaneously just because the shit's too strong for the three worlds. And she opens up the first malevolent shrine and has those brothers start tweaking, and they each have like their own individualized like room. And it was just a sick Bankai altogether, honestly. And it was so powerful, it was like trembling the real world. But I'd say the best part of this episode, we go back to your watch in Ichibei. And Ichibei's Bankai pulls all the black out of the world. And he splooges that shit all over your watch. And he hits him with this, Yuhabaha. Or perhaps should I say, the one who used to be Yuhabaha. Your watch. Does that shit really even matter in the grand scheme of things? I think I'm gonna be giving you a name now. And you know, there are many things I could call you. And like what I'm feeling Black Ant, but I don't even want to go that way, because you kept muttering my name over and over and over again. You know, so I'm gonna take this ink and I'm gonna give this shit a nice signature for you. How about instead of you watch, maybe it's like you whack. Like maybe you whack ass Black Ant. Or you whack ass Quincy ass fraud ass. I just like, maybe just ass, you know, just ass, ASS. I think I'm feeling that, because you can mix that in with a lot of things. So here's my stamp of approval. Bow. But no, actually seeing watch just stand here, not moving him, just standing there with this look on his face that just looks like pure defeat, and that there's absolutely nothing he could do. Get his identity stolen from him, given a new one of a Black Ant. And then Ichibei stomping on the ground, the foot coming from the heavens, and him plummeting, and you thinking that's it for him. And just as an extra credit assignment, he claps his ass too. Pause. He claps his ass, and you see him as a Black Ant just plummeting, him looking at the seal, and then the core ends just like that. And I think that was a great way to end it. I don't know, man. This core altogether, do I think is better than the first one? I don't even know. I'd say that you watch Ichibei fight was like a 10 out of 10. Just because of like how the creativity behind it for me. And then like the whole Bankai thing with Senjumaru, like I guess the 4-on-4 that they were having, or 5-on-5 that they were having, that was also like a really good fight too altogether. Like there were some fucking ridiculous moments with that, so I'd also give that like a 10 out of 10. And Kuratsuchi versus Roach, I don't know if I ranked that yet, but that was like an 8.5, 9. So I mean, these were like really good fights, you know. And comparing Core 1 to Core 2, I mean, I don't know which I like better if I had to choose one, because Core 1 had like episode 7, Yamamoto versus Uwatch, which may still be the best fight. It might be. Yeah, that might still be the best fight so far. But no, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I may have to give Core 1 the edge just because of like the surprise factor of it. But I mean, the show as a whole, this whole 1,000 Year Blood War shit has been a 10 out of 10. Like, I really don't think there are any flaws. Maybe, I mean, I don't even know if I would call these battles too short, because I feel like they are not dragged out at all, because they've been taking like the whole episode, you know, because I feel like they're getting straight to the point and there's not really a lot of dilly-dallying, and like the longer battles are as long as they're supposed to be. If anyone were to make a complaint about this season as a whole, it would be that, but I personally don't even think that that's a flaw, just because it's like I don't feel like I've missed anything so far, you know. Does that make sense? And I just feel like the creative direction of this season has been so fucking phenomenal, so good, and just straight to the point, and it's been like hitting on all cylinders: art direction, cinematography, atmosphere, aesthetic, soundtrack. Everything has been just going. It's been so fucking good. This continues in the way that it is, and especially if that Hell arc that had that one shot gets its own, like, continues the manga and like is actually like a good arc, I could see this like really genuinely possibly being my favorite in the big three, and that's with One Piece being my favorite anime of all time, you know. And that's just saying with One Piece where it's at now. There's just something about Bleach, man. There's just something about Bleach that, like, oh man, that shit has me bricked. I'm not like, it just like, I've just, oh man, it's just the pacing. It's so good. It's so good, and I feel like I'm dick sucking, but like it really just invokes like an emotion in me that like I don't feel with a lot of shows. It's like the perfect mix for my taste. I feel like Core 2, 10 out of 10. Whole arc 10 out of 10. Not much to really say about it. And plus size video coming, and we got Blocktober coming, Dan to Dan as well. And let's get this show on the road. That's all I gotta say. Sub to the second channel. I'm trying to hit 1K on there before the end of the year, so if you stay to this part in the video, I'd really appreciate that. Just like miscellaneous content over there, primarily gaming, and try and build that up as well. And road to 100K over here. If you haven't subbed to this channel yet, then please do so as well. And without further ado, on to the next one. And yeah, that's it.